Hello, everyone, and welcome to, in some ways, the official start of Fiction Online. So this week is when you'll start to feel a little bit more how the course is going to go throughout the semester. Um, Although the reading and discussion is a little bit light this week, again, this is about getting acclimated, making sure that the discussion forums make sense, that the quiz feature makes sense, and then we'll just kind of continue on as the semester goes. And of course, do keep in mind as we go forward this summer that this is an 8-week course that would normally be a 16-week course. So as we kind of pick up the speed with readings and writing, just kind of keep that in mind. So coming up this week, I've put in the assignment section making sure that you've read everything that I asked you to read in the last couple of days. So you've read those articles, you've read the elements of fiction section in your book. That's what your quiz this week is over, is the basics of the elements of fiction. So you'll need to complete that quiz by next Wednesday at noon. This quiz that you're taking this week is multiple choice and true-false. So that means that when you do the quiz, you'll get your grade right away. Sometimes this semester you'll do quizzes that involve short answers or essay answers, and when you complete those, it might look like you have a low grade, but that's just because I haven't manually graded it yet. So keep that in mind, just in terms of the technicalities of the course, that if I haven't graded something, whether it's a quiz or it's an assignment that shows up in your grade book, it looks like you have a 0 on that, which of course you don't. So keep that in mind as we move forward. So be sure you've read the elements of fiction, do your quiz in the next week, and be sure you've read all those articles and looked over PowerPoints and gotten acclimated to the resources I provided to you as well. So your first 2 pieces of fiction that we read are Happy Endings by Margaret Atwood and Sonny's Blues by James Baldwin. Margaret Atwood's Happy Endings is kind of a funky little short story. And let me go on a quick tangent. Some of the stories on your text list for this summer you may have read before. In Comp 2, in high school, some of the titles may sound familiar. That does not mean that you can skip them. It is amazing how differently we read stories. Whether it's a year later or 10 years later, we always are finding new things as we read. I've been teaching for 8 years, so I've read a lot of stories and a lot of plays over and over again, and every time I find something new. And you're a different person now than you were when you first read it. So please always be sure to read and read closely. And the best way to read short fiction is, as you might imagine, to read it more than once. Read it, see what you can get from it, and then go back and dig through. And also, you read the New York Times article on annotating your text and how important it is and useful it is to mark in your text. Underline sentences that you think are beautiful. Look things up that you don't know and write in the margins what definitions are. That's something that really doesn't take a lot of time, but will completely open up a world of close reading. So be sure to do that. Your textbook for this class is super cheap, and I really, really hope that you keep the book at the end of the semester because there's so much great stuff in it that we're not just going to be able to get to, so it's a great book to have on your shelf. Okay, that was kind of a long tangent. So Margaret Atwood's Happy Endings. Again, this is kind of an interesting format of a short story, and it kind of resembles a choose-your-own-adventure story, and talking about how the beginning and end of life, of stories, are kind of all the same, but it's the stuff in the middle that, whether you're a fiction writer or a fiction reader, that's where the interesting stuff happens. In the forum for this story, it's kind of different than most forums that I will normally give to you, in that I'm just asking you to kind of personally reflect and respond to the story. Did you like it? Why or why not? Did it make you think of anything else? And I especially want you to pay attention to the final line of the story, where she says that the how and the why is what matters. Because that's going to be a theme throughout the semester, is going beneath the surface and really digging into the how and why, and analyzing is where the good stuff really is. So that's something that we'll talk about throughout the semester. The other short story that you're reading is Sunny's Blues by James Baldwin, a more traditional piece of short fiction. In that forum is how most short story forums will look this semester, where I give you a few different discussion questions. I number them, so underneath you'll reply to that forum and you'll just indicate what number discussion question you're answering and give your response. Start trying to quote the text. YouTube froze for a second. Start trying to quote the text, use proper MLA citation. That's something that as we move on in the semester you'll be expected to do, so it's good to start practicing. By next Monday at midnight, you'll need to have made one response to each of those forums. And then by next Wednesday at noon, you'll need to have responded to one of your classmates. So at the very least, you'll need to have 3 original posts in the discussion forum. 1 for each of the stories and 1 to your classmate. You can obviously post more. I hope that lively discussions happen in the forums, but that's what most of these weeks are going to look like. This week is a light reading week. You only have 2 stories, so that will pick up, but you'll be more acclimated to kind of what the format feels like. I mentioned also in the assignment that sometimes I'm more active than other times in the forums, but I'm always watching. I'm always there reading. And every few weeks I will grade your forum responses based on the number of them that you're responding as much as you're supposed to and the content of your responses. So just be aware of that. Okay, so I think that's all I have to talk about for this upcoming week. Please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns. I've enjoyed meeting all of you in the Introductions Forum. You sound like an awesome group of people, and that always makes me kind of sad because I wish I could be in the classroom face-to-face with all of you. But I look forward to talking to all of you more, reading your writing, hearing your thoughts, and again, never hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Have a great day.